It means that companies need developers. That's, yeah, you know this. Companies need good developers, of course. What developeronomics is about, that companies will need good developers more and more. If you think that companies need developers now and they need them really desperately, wait 1 year, 10 years from now, and companies will, I promise you, they will really, if you're a developer, they will need you very much, and I'll tell you why. So, but right now it's more like, if you're a company, you want a lawyer, you want someone, you know, who, like a businessman, something like that. What it's gonna go to is, you want someone like this. And why? There's a lot of layers to this, so I'll just cover some of those really, I guess, obvious ones. The first one is the power of the web, and for that I'm borrowing my hometown. I come from this city in Czech Republic. Who here knows Brno? Okay, wow, okay, I'm surprised. It's really like a small city. 2 or maybe like 20 years ago, there would be really nothing that someone in Brno would be able to export, for example, to the United States. There was just that, like, Brno was known for tractors and pistols, and none of the tractors went to the United States. There was no way that someone from this city would be actually, exporting some goods otherwhere than to Czech Republic. Now it's a different story. Does anyone here play video games? Yeah. Do you know Mafia, the video game? Yeah, some of you. Arma, maybe Shadowgun. Yes, some of you and you probably don't know that this is from Brno. Some of you didn't know Brno. Some of you used the antivirus thing, AVG, Shadowgun, Mafia, Operation Flashpoint. These all come from this little town that has nothing to do with any of this. But it shows you how it's powerful now that you have this web that you can, for example, AVG is making millions of dollars on the US market, and they don't even need to be there. They don't have sales office in New York or something like that, but they are making a lot of money there. So this is the first thing, the power of the web. You don't really need to be anywhere to sell your stuff there, and when you're doing software, this is you just don't need to be a huge company, exporting goods. Another story is the power of the algorithm. Again, personal thing. I'm looking for a flat right now in Prague, and finding a flat in Prague is really difficult. It's quite a big city. It's not as big as Moscow, but it's big. It's very expensive, and there's a lot of movement on the market and stuff like that. So I have two options, right? I can either call a real estate agency and pay a lot of money to them, and they will maybe have 2 or 3 hours of their time. They'll look at the listings and they say, oh, you probably want to buy this flat. Or I can start by looking by myself and invest a lot of my time. The problem is both options are really bad, because in both options I'm investing a lot of time or money, and in none of those options I really actually see all the flats in the market to really compare them, right? So fortunately there's programming now. So now this is what actually I did. I did an app script code that gathers all the listings of all the flats in Prague all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 hours a week, and it just dumps them in this. It's not even a database; it's a table in Google Docs, and I can just go through it, I can analyze it. This is something that no real estate agency would give me. This is something that no real estate agency would give me, right? And this is it. This is my agency, and it's free. It's working for me all the time, and I just hacked it like in one day. And that's the power of the algorithm. It's like the power of me not being dependent on an agency and paying them a lot of money. I just did it myself in my free time. And now I have, like, you know, I'm pretty sure I can find better flats than I would be able to before. And this is just for me. Now consider what this does to a company, for example. If you have a company and you have, you know, 2 developers there, then it's another story completely than if you have a company and there are no developers. So all companies need good developers. The power of good code. When I showed you the code here, it's actually here too. This is bad code. Like if you wanted to, I hacked this like in I don't know, maybe an hour. It's longer actually. You wouldn't want to look at this code. You wouldn't want to maintain this code. It's really horrible and hacky and bad and whatever. But it works, right? But what's more important is, of course, that you know how to do good code. And I think this conference is also about good code. Good code that is, you know, well documented, that is readable, that is unit tested, is really important. And again, it shows the, you know, the developernomic thing. You don't want a developer that just can program somehow and doesn't really know how to do it, but somehow it works. You want a developer that makes programs that are unit tested, that he's very sure about that this is going to work and how it is going to work and so on. And that leads us to the last thing, and that's the power of reuse. If you have good developers, if you have good code, you can reuse a lot of that. You don't need to repeat yourself. And this is like very brief history of programming from the 1980s. In 1980s, if you wanted to do programming, most of the time you did everything yourself. You just started with, you know, a blank assembler thing or something like that, and you just did it all yourself. In the 1990s, you had OS APIs that you could build upon, but not much else. 2000s, you had OS APIs, but you have also SDKs and stuff like that, third-party tools that you could use, and you would make the rest yourself. But in 1910s, you have all those things, but you also have a hell of a lot of APIs, you have a hell of a lot of libraries and frameworks. You have GitHub now, so anytime you need anything, really, it's on GitHub already. So you don't need to make it yourself, you can implement it and stuff like that. And if you know how to do it, if you know about, you know, so okay, you need a map in your application. You go and you use the Google Maps API, you realize that you need something special to do with the map. You could either build it yourself or you can go to GitHub and see what other people did with this. And so you can really just program the stuff that you really want to program and not the stuff around it. So the big principle, of course, that everyone here knows is don't repeat yourself. The more important, I think, is don't repeat others. And that's, this is the Google developer side, but what we're doing here in the DevFest is that you don't want to repeat what Google is doing. Google has done a lot of APIs for you so that you don't need to repeat, you know, mapping or directions. That's a lot of code that you don't need to write. And that's what you're gonna learn now and hopefully not only today. So, and that's, again, that's, please, even when you're talking about really technical stuff, don't forget that this is all about developernomics. This is about you getting, better at what you're doing and using this in future. Absorb today's information. There's going to be a lot of it, but more importantly, use it. Like it doesn't make sense to just listen to something and then just like, yeah, that was nice, and not ever use it again. It's recommended to try and implement stuff when you hear about it. So like if you can go today to your home and start programming on one of the APIs that you learn about today, that's awesome. But most importantly, enjoy it today. Okay, thank you.
Ну, дальше мы делимся на две части. Значит, техническая информация. Смотрите, в течение лекции мы предусмотрели маячки. Маячки будем вручать тем, кто будет задавать самые интересные, самые коварные вопросы спикерам. По 5 маячек на каждую секцию, на каждый доклад. Вот. Кроме того, когда мы делали форму регистрации, в этой форме регистрации для выбора пола, кроме мужского и женского пола, был еще пол Android. Это такая небольшая пасхалочка. Как оказалось, 10% тех, кто у нас зарегистрировался на конференцию, имеют пол Android. Вот. И мы так подумали, надо бы попросить этих ребят, да, доказать то, что они Android. Значит, на обеде встретимся на стойке регистрации с этими людьми и попробуем устроить небольшой конкурс. Тот, кто лучше всех изобразит из себя андроида, мы к ним вручим еще дополнительные маячки, которые у нас есть другие. Вот, таких, я думаю, у нас будет человек 7. Вот, теперь дальше все, смотрите расписание, оно есть там возле каждого из залов есть на большом дисплее общее расписание. И выбирайте те секции, которые вам нужны. Если вас Google Apps Script, например, заинтересовал, о котором Филипп говорил, у нас по нему тоже есть небольшая секция, как Google Apps Script использовать в бизнесе. Вот все. Теперь у нас небольшая пауза техническая, и дальше продолжим.